Hey guys, 40 years ago, I got out of the Marine Corps. Not quite 40 years ago, but when I got out, I saved some MREs. This is one of the original beef stew MREs. We were pretty excited to get MREs because the Marine Corps had been using sea rations for like 35 years. So this is pretty cool. I like this one. And we're going to compare it with a modern day cold weather beef stew MRE and see which one tastes better. We kind of know what that'll be, but also what accessories are with each one. The thing I remember from the old MREs is they had this. That was always nice because you could just tear it right like that, rip it open pretty easily, and get everything out. And we're talking, okay, see, this is back in the day. We have fruit mix. Fruit mix, what? Yeah, you have to add water to it. We have cherry nut cake. These were quite good, actually. We'll see. Peanut butter. Oh yeah, this is going to be good. 40-year-old peanut butter in the pouch. That'll be good. We have our chocolate powder, no doubt. Yep, beverage powder. Got our spoon. Crackers. Ooh, still crunchy.
That's good.
Beef stew. And let's take a look at our accessory pack. See what's in this accessory pack. Coffee, we'll try that. Creamer, sugar, salt, matches, toilet paper, and Beachy's peppermint gum. Try our, there we go, it worked fine. Now on our new generation MRE, let's see here. Peelable seal, it says. Let's see how easy that is. Okay, once you get your finger in there, it's pretty good. Let's see what we have. We've got toasted corn kernels. I'm thinking that's going to be, what's that called?
Corn nuts.
Corn nuts, thank you. Yeah, corn nuts. Oh, vanilla pound cake. That's, oh my gosh. Grape beverage powder in its own container right there. You can hold it like that. Nice substantial spoon. Check that out. Old MRE, new MRE. We've got our accessory pack, which we'll open up, and here is our beef stew compared to, gotta show this, compared to beef stew. Check out our accessory pack here. We have toilet paper. Oh, this has been, something's gotten wet in this thing. Check that out.
Oh, yeah.
The sugar is hard. The moist towelette, I wonder if it burst. Matches got rusty, and this is the new MRE. That's crazy.
The old one's in better condition than the new one.
The gum, oh, I know what happened. You got creamer. I'll bet you this is the one that, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that broke, that seal somewhere burst. And look at that, there's hardly any left in it. Must have been like a pressure thing or something. Anyway, that's very interesting. Let's get some hot water and have some coffee. First, the Bill's Brew from the new MRE. Next, the older MRE. First thing I noticed right away is it's very fine, very fine. It's not granules. So here's the new MRE coffee, Bill's Brew. Good. That's just a fine coffee. I'll tell you what, that's not a bad coffee at all. Here's the older one, 40-year-old coffee. That's got a twang to it. Yeah, looks a little bit more like mud. This, I don't know, it's got a little bit, yeah, a little something there. So, quick summary, the Bill's Brew is better. No big surprise there. The new generation being freeze-dried, we need to add water to it. But just take a look at this. You've got carrots, you've got a lot of potatoes, chunks of beef, peas. That's going to be some fun stuff to have right there. The instructions say 3/4 of a canteen cup of water. So there we go. There's my old Marine Corps canteen cup. Those don't change. Pour that off into there. seal it off, set it aside. The old generation beef stew just has to be put into somewhere warm, and that water is still quite warm. So we'll just let that set for a while. So for the newer one, we're going to open up our, I'll call them just corn nuts. And pour them out there. Oh man, you know what that looks like? Miniature corn pops. You know what? And I don't mean the bad dude.
The corn pop, he was a bad dude.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude.
And then the freeze-dried fruit mix. Let's see what that looks like. Now this is, again, 40 years old.
Ooh.
Delectable. There we go. Come on, get out of there. There's a lot of goodness on the bottom. I can feel it. There we go. Check that. I told you there was a lot left.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
All right. Well, let's see.
What is that supposed to be? What kind of fruit?
This is a fruit mix. Let's take a look here. Yeah. It doesn't tell us. I see a bit of cherry. I know there's going to be pineapple. That might be an apple. That whole thing smells a little sus, as you guys would say. Say a quick prayer. Father in heaven, thank you for this food you provide richly for us. I just ask you bless to my body now. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen.
Okay, let's try a little bit of cherry, and I'm guessing that's going to be an apple. That was usually the biggest portion of these things. Not bad. Tastes like fruit. No.
It really isn't that bad?
No, it's really not bad at all. Yeah. In fact, you know what? Since these could be eaten either way, let's go ahead and add a little bit of water to it and just see if they, puff up or what happens if it reconstitutes things to a degree. I don't think we need much.
It soaked it up like a sponge.
It did, didn't it? Well, let's see here. So we'll just kind of place that down into there and let the water do its work. I have to say that the fruit definitely retained its sweet and fruity taste. That's kind of cool. That's kind of a nice surprise. Okay, now move on to the corn nuts. First thing, I've had regular, modern day corn nuts. These are, new, but these are a lot softer. The modern day corn nuts, like you get out of the little packages at the C-store, they hurt my teeth. These crunch up. It's about halfway between a corn pop cereal and the corn nuts. And there's a little sweetness to them too. That's good. That's a fun mix of crunch and salt and corn taste. I like that. All right, let's try the old fruit cocktail here, or whatever we're going to call that. I like those cherries, so let's keep a cherry in it.
It smells weird to me.
Yeah, there's a little metal smell and taste to it. Okay, here's the thing. If I'm wanting something crunchy and salty, that's it. But it's sweet, it tastes fruity, that's good as well. If I'm going salty, savory, this is my deal. If I need a little dessert type thing or a little something fruity, that's what I want. So that 40 years later, still thumbs up. So one interesting thing here, I have the cherry nut cake and vanilla pound cake. This is kind of like a bonus in the old style MRE. So we're going to have a little peanut butter and crackers, which...
Oh, they don't have any crackers in
No, there's nothing like that in the freeze-dried ones. And again, one of the reasons most of that stuff is freeze-dried is because it's Arctic, it's cold weather, so you're going to be in the super cold, and you can't have stuff that is like this, that's going to freeze. That'll freeze hard. You can't have that when you're out in the Arctic, so in the cold weather. So we'll knead that together good and have a little peanut butter and crackers going here. All right, folks, 40-year-old peanut butter coming down.
Oh, it's
got a lot of oil in it, doesn't it?
Watery.
Plenty of oil. Still smells good like peanut butter. Look how that just lays on that cracker just right. Oh. It's actually really good. I can't believe that peanut butter, it just brings back 40 years ago, being in the Marine Corps. Looking at this, I remember because we used to get them in a tin, in a can. Peanut butter was in a can. This is far superior to the canned peanut butter because you could knead it together while you're sitting there jaw-jacking with your buddies. This is really good. 40-year-old peanut butter, who'd have thunk it? Now the crackers, they're not bad either.
But they're the weakest link.
They're the weakest link, that's right. In fact, let me,
That's amazing how peanut butter keeps for that long. That's incredible.
that 40-year-old coffee. Yeah, I might switch over to the Bill's Brew on the next little drink, but yeah, I gotta have one more bite of that. There we go. Perfect. That's good. That's right uptown right there. Next, let's compare our toilet paper napkins. This is funny. The new one, Lighthouse, they have their phone number and their website on there in case you want to get a hold of them, I guess. But the old ones, it's just the standard. It's got the military number and packed in South Carolina or wherever, and that's all it says. So
maybe you're enjoying their toilet paper so much you want to give them a call and order more or something.
Maybe that's it. So this is the new. Now, one thing I'll notice, they've got a little stain on that to begin with. Oh wait, no, that was where the Tabasco sauce leaked in. So very soft.
Ooh. That's never good. Never get Tabasco
Smells like
sauce.
Tabasco sauce. Yeah, you don't want to watch it on your eyes and other openings.
Never have Tabasco sauce in your toilet paper. I think that's a good
That's just
life
a
rule.
Life rule. That's right. Now these are softer, way softer. This is a little more like paper towel-y, like a cheap paper towel. Little harder. Not as comfy. This here, if I had both in the field, this is my toilet paper, this is my napkin. Anyway, I gotta cleanse the old palate before we go on, boys. Next, let's move on to our different cakes. We got our vanilla pound cake in the new MRE. That looks, I mean, come on, that looks scrumptious, right? And then we have the cherry nut cake in a 40-year-old MRE. In the day, 40-year-old MRE, cherry nut cake, I traded for these. There are guys that didn't care for them. I liked them. Still held together pretty decently. You can see the bits of cherry, and now the nuts might cause a little trouble here. That's that might be the nuts. The black thing is the nuts because I see the cherry and the red there.
Don't get sick.
No, it tastes like kind of like a stale candy bar. Not bad, not too shabby. Got a little Bill's Brew to wash it down. It does do that thing though where it's wicking away the moisture on the sides of my tongue. That's a weird feeling. The old food tends to do that for me. Yeah, that's a weird feeling. Probably won't be eating any more of that cherry nut cake because it's got me all dried out in the back. But this is the stump. Look at that. You can see the stump of the muffin. This is the part everybody wants. Oh, that smells wonderful. Oh my, no comparison. The new vanilla shortcake or vanilla pound cake there, it's hands down. And boy, pair that with some coffee all day long, boy. That's good stuff. It's got the crunchy, you know, it's baked all the way around, so there's not a side that doesn't have a little crust to it. That is really good. Let's compare our drinks. We got our cocoa powder with the old MRE and the grape with the new. Let's see what we think. We're supposed to add a half a canteen cup. I've measured that out ahead of time. We'll put her in there. It's a lot of water. That seems like a way lot of water. Oh, well, we'll give it a whirl.
I see the fill line there. It's near the top.
Yeah, oh, that's right. That's right. Yep, half a canteen cup. That's what I put in. So let stand for 30 minutes. We'll let her set. Okay, so our 40-year-old cocoa powder, you can have it hot or cold. It says add about an ounce to your canteen. whether you're going hot or cold. Make a paste first. Easier said than done with 40-year-old powder. We'll get that into a paste, and then we'll add the rest of our water. It says 6 ounces, which is about a quarter canteen cup. If you'll notice, this is the old MRE stuff. I got my new MRE spoon because this one, it barely fits down in my canteen cup. This gives me plenty of room to mix and stir. So that's another difference. The old MREs had a tiny little spoon. The newer ones have the bigger spoon, and that is a lot more convenient. Add the rest of our water. There we go. We'll let that set a little longer. Try some cold cocoa and some cold grape. See what we like better. While we're waiting for our main dishes to mix up there, get hot, I'm going to share a few pictures I took when I was over in Beirut, Lebanon in 1983. I think you'll find it kind of interesting. In the 1970s, a man by the name of Yasser Arafat and his terrorist organization called the PLO, or Palestinian Liberation Organization, started running terror attacks and sending bombs and rockets into Israel. Israel and Lebanon shared a border, Israel being to the south, Lebanon to the north. And as Israel started defending themselves and driving the PLO back, they ended up in Beirut, which is the capital city of Lebanon. And from there, Israel started, or not from there, but to there, Israel started bombing Beirut, and there was a lot of unfortunate civilian collateral damage to the civilian population, as well as buildings and property. Here you see a bombed out building that was probably offices and apartment complex kind of a thing, and the whole roof collapsed. This is the kind of thing that was pretty commonplace around the city. You can see the ocean behind this building. We were traveling in a Jeep. I was probably taking officers to somewhere they needed to go, but managed to click a few pictures off here. One of the interesting things, we have a BMW and a Mercedes in the foreground. Again, this was in 1983, so still had vehicles. A lot of people escaped the carnage, but you can see from the damage here in front of that building, you can see the shopping center. It was no longer operating as a shopping center, but that was life in Beirut in the 80s. What happened was a lot of people would, I don't know if this particular man was a shop owner before this or what, but you would see these kinds of roadside stands where they'd be on the sidewalk and spill out into the street a little bit. And there would be all different kinds of vendors or stores, if you will, businesses. This particular man looks to have a lot of clothing items. Maybe he had a clothing store before all this happened. It's hard to tell, but they would just be selling alongside the street. And then you can see the awning there. At night, they could pull that down, push everything back in, and then shut the door and continue, open it all up the next day. This was kind of interesting to me because you have the roadside store with statuary. You see 2 lions and some urns, and it looks like a little cherub or an angel or something. But then there are also plants. And as I recall, a lot of those plants that were for sale alongside the road were live plants. Things grow pretty well in Beirut and that area of the world just because it's a beautiful spot. Here's a roadside fruit stand. Obviously all kinds of fruits and vegetables there. But again, there's a house right, or not a house, but a store, I guess you'd say, right behind it where they could bring everything in at night. And then a lot of times people lived behind the storefronts there. That was actually that would be their residence oftentimes. Don't know about this particular man, but that was the case oftentimes. Here we have a common thing. This building had been torn up pretty good. You can see to the right there, between the guys and the girl all the way to the far right, there's a place there where they have taken Brico blocks and put things back together, added to the building a little bit. She's leaning up against some kind of a freezer, refrigerator, probably to save meat a little longer. But you can see a lot of times there are sheep and goats hanging by their haunches from wires, and you can see that right behind the one fellow there. Here's a more, this place had sold out quite a bit of meat. But the interesting thing was they also had some retail finished food going on. So in the Middle East, these are called shumoru, as I understand it, and they We know them as gyros, of course, but it's just in the Middle East you're going to have lamb and goat and perhaps beef laid on its side, stacked up, and then cooked vertically like that. And in the West here, a lot of times people have yogurt with them, things like that. But in the Middle East, they would have sprinkled crushed pistachio nuts on them. So that was kind of interesting. But so I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, let me know in the comments, because I've got some more pictures from Beirut, and I'll tell you a few more stories if you're interested. All right, let's get out the Mountain House beef stew, freeze-dried. I have a feeling this is going to look pretty decent. Oh my, check that out. I got to be careful here. I'll get it all over the place. There's more gravy in the bottom of that. Let's move that over so we can share a little bit on that side. Now that maybe should have been stirred up a little better on the bottom, huh?
You pour the gravy right over top.
There you go. Let that soak in. But this part here definitely got all...
Well, they gave you a huge portion. It's amazing how that blows up.
Man, and look at the color. I mean, that's just beautiful. Really, that's very cool. That's very appealing. When I was in the cafeteria business, it was always good to make things appealing to the eye, because then people, they wanted more of it, and when they ate it, they enjoyed it more. So they sure have done a good job. I'll tell you, again, these cold weather MREs, Mountain House is the main contributor of the main dish, or the contributor of the main dish, and they just rarely, in fact, so far they've not disappointed. That is really good looking stuff. Well, let's take our subject beef stew, 40 years old, out of its container and see how that's going to go down. See if it's as appetizing. Oh, there's some gravy there. Oh, and yeah, this is what I remember. It was a little pasty, as I recall. Yep.
I feel like I should blur that out.
Yeah, it's all good. All right. Well, we've got, I think, kind of the same elements, except for we have lima beans in here. Check that out. We have lima beans, carrots, potatoes, beef, and like a tomato paste. And then we have peas, carrots, potatoes, and beef. This is a little drier looking, wouldn't you say, Ace?
Yeah.
Look at this piece of beef right here. Can you see that? That's pretty dry looking. Now that might have to do with 40 years old. So we're going to get a little carrot and lima bean and pea. Or no, there are no peas in this one. Some paste and some beef. Let's have a little bit of beef. I don't know. Let's see here. Let me leave the beef off for now.
I'm going to say that's probably not a
just have
safe thing to eat.
Well, yeah. I don't think that'd be wise.
Yeah, you don't want to get sick.
No, there's no point in that. Let's cleanse the old palate. Excuse me.
Look how much more there is, this one, and it's how much better it looks.
Yeah. There you go. All right. We'll try the new MRE now. I wonder what's going to taste better. Get some carrots, peas, beef, and taters in there. Wow. That is tasty. I think it needs salt. They don't give me salt.
Oh, you could sprinkle the salty corn nuts on it.
Ooh, now you're talking. That is an excellent idea. And then I have corn in my beef stew too. What a great idea, Ace. Two minds are better than one. Wow. That's fantastic. Well, obviously the beef stew and the new one, the meat has that texture still, even though it's been freeze-dried, it's constituted really well. That is a great taste. The blend of the individual potatoes, carrots, and peas, and then throwing that corn in there. What a great idea, Asa. Really, I mean, that's a good idea to put that in there and let it soak a little of that gravy up maybe. Oh, that just adds another element, plus it adds a crunch to it. That's really quite good. I'd eat that all day long. And the volume. My only concern would be, if you're not that hungry, I guess what you'd want to do is eat that first, because you want to eat it all up because you don't have anywhere to put it, right? You eat that all up, and then you open up the other stuff as you want to eat it or have the room to eat it. So, wow. Well, let's check out our drinks next. All right, let's get our cold grape drink and pour it on in the container here. Get a good visual.
It does look like Gatorade.
It does look like Gatorade.
A few
doesn't it?
floaties.
A couple floaties, yeah. And now our quarter cup of hot or cold cocoa beverage powder can be served either way. There we go. It didn't do too bad with, breaking up pretty good. And, all right, well, let's try the 40-year-old first here. You know, if it's good, we can pour it over our muffin top over here, cross-contaminate. All right. Of course, it's cold, so...
Sour milk.
That was nasty. Oh.
Sour milk in a...
Sour milk. Oh, 40-year-old sour. That was not good. Where did it go? Oh, it says, oh, geez. Not good, guys. Some of the crunchy got in my... That's not good. Don't eat 40-year-old cocoa. Ugh.
Milk chocolate cocoa.
That tastes a lot better. It does taste like Gatorade. It's not, when you put the right amount of water in there, it's not real sweet. It's got a little bit of salt to it. That's a dang, it tastes like the Gatorade we have on our boat. Good stuff. Well, let's see here. We've got some, I did not try our matches on the newer one. Has the stain from the Tabasco sauce there. Make sure the matches, yep, they work just fine. There we go. Let's have some gum, shall we, Ace?
Sounds good.
Let's
See
compare,
which gum is better.
Yes, compare new gum to old gum. So here's the new.
All right.
Cheers. Oh, that's soft. That's almost weird soft, isn't it?
Yeah, it just collapses.
I'd say that's that's like a wintergreen or pepper. It's not peppermint. I think it's like a wintergreen.
Wintergreen, yeah.
That's good. All right. Let's see here about our beachies. That's pretty cool. Lifesavers Company put that out. It says on the side. Now this is going to have a crunch to it. Cheers.
Cheers. Does have a crunch.
That's flavorful as well.
That's good too.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that one.
Not a bit.
It's just two separate flavors. Like they're both just really good.
One's peppermint, one's whatever that
wintergreen.
Wintergreen, yeah. And that's interesting because in the old MREs they don't have wintergreen. They'll have peppermint, I think cinnamon, and like a spearmint kind of thing, but they don't have a wintergreen. Well, we got to compare two MREs, same main dish menu. Both had good elements. One had all good elements. The winner is the new MRE, no doubt. But let's get after the next one.